Good afternoon, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and did you know a recent study has found that women who carry a little extra weight live longer than the men who mention it? Now then, today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called Shardpunk Verminfall, developed by Clockwork Pile and published by Retrovibe. This game was released not in early access and is selling for $12 American. Now, I'm not too sure what the deal is with this game. Are these the same Skaven from Warhammer? I'm thinking so, because it mentions them as vermin and says you're in the Empire, so I'm just going to assume that it is until told otherwise. It's even called Vermintide. The game is an XCOM clone with pixelated graphics, and I'm assuming in the Warhammer universe. But with that XCOM turn-by-turn gameplay, they added a survival theme to the genre, so is it any good? Well, that's what I'm here doing today, trying to figure that out. So as always, we'll go into the good and the bad, followed by my general thoughts, and make sure you stick around to the end. I mean, there could always be some negatives at the end that might turn this game off for you. Also, I mean, come on, it's like 10 minutes of videos, most of the time less than that. I mean, come on, I'm sure everybody out there could spare at least 10 minutes of their time watching my video, and like I said, most of the time, they're not even 10 minutes long. Now, the general story of this game is that the Imperial capital is being besieged by these vermin, who then find a way into the city from underground. The city is lost, reinforcements are too far away to help, and the people within have to fend for themselves. This is where you come in, a small ragtag group of survivors trying to survive your way through the city to either escape or find some science device that's gonna kill all of them or defeat them or something. I don't know, it was kind of vague, but I think I get the gist of it. Now then, up first for the positives is the sound and the music. I mean, that music is something else. It's so intense and deep and epic. I mean, it fits really well with the rest of the theme of the game. It's got that deep, dark, depressing vibe with a hint of hope, and all of it together happens to work really well in the background whenever you're doing your missions. The whole survival thing, you know. The sound effects are kick-ass too. I mean, listening to these the firing of your guns, the different types of guns, you know, or listening to them reload, or listening to that heavy armored guy stomping across the streets. I mean, your ears are going to be very pleased to play this game. Next up is well, I can't really say graphics because, I mean, it's pixelated. However, I could still talk about how the game looks. You know, for a depressing game about harsh survival against all odds, they managed to give it a look and feel of a depressing, desperate survival game without making it too dark or dirty or ugly. Everything is still really nice to look at, it's all pleasant on the eyes, and there's enough detail to pick out different things among all the other pixels. Overall, while the graphics might not be something like next gen, for what they're doing, it's still pretty nice to look at, easy on the eyes and all that. Now this next positive is the big one. It's the gameplay. Now obviously it's hard to do the tried and true XCOM gameplay wrong, but I have seen it done wrong in rare instances. Here, there's no real free roam. Right out of the gate, it's turn-based. Enemies can show up from anywhere, and just like in XCOM, they can wreck your day in a hurry if you're not super careful. I mean, I literally inch my way forward, never taking my guys off of Overwatch. And if you don't know what XCOM is, then I highly encourage you to go out, get it, and play that. You know, go play any of them. They're all awesome. Basically, you can move or act up to 2 times per character. You have accuracy, Overwatch, which lets your characters auto-fire at incoming enemies. Then you got to reload, you've got grenades, stim packs, and I could keep going. But then they've got extra stuff too. You see, because it's survival, you have to scavenge. Now, luckily, scavenging doesn't take up any of your AP or action points, so as you traverse the level, you need to scavenge for any goods you can find. To beat the level, you must cross it, survive it, sometimes complete an objective or two, and get to the safety of the nearest bunker. There, you and your team will quote-unquote bunker down and rest before moving on to the next level. Now before I go into the stuff you can do in the bunker, each time you meet one and head out again, the game will offer you a choice on which direction to go, almost like a roguelike game. I don't know how death works in this game, because it hasn't happened to me yet, but we're all very excited. Anyway, the bunker. Inside the bunker, you can level up your team members into whatever kind of stats you personally prefer, but that's not all. You also have this little robot that travels with you, and he can be upgraded. And he's also kind of important, because if he dies, it's game over. You got to get him to the Imperial Palace or something. But you can get him upgrades, which will help keep him alive or support the team. But you can also upgrade the guns of your characters, which makes the guns stronger and changes their appearance, which is super cool, by the way. You can also craft things, talk to your other characters for a pick-me-up, have them rest, and you got to make sure to keep them all well fed. There's a bunch more here, but if I keep talking about gameplay, I won't finish the review, so the gameplay is awesome, let's leave it at that. Next up is the price. I can only imagine how long this game could end up being. For me, it took about 20 to 30 minutes per mission, and that's without dying or losing. But that's also because I was being really careful and slow about it too, so keep that in mind. And I think there are possibly a dozen or so levels, maybe even more. I'm still kind of super early into it, so I don't really know. But we're talking probably 6 to 12 hours of gameplay here if they keep going, like this first branching path level thing isn't the only one. Then yeah, it could definitely go on to 4, 5, 6, maybe more hours. And then it's got the epic sounds, the intuitive fun gameplay, all of this for the low price of $12. I mean, that price tag is super appropriate. Hell, it's a steal, honestly. And last but not least, the replayability, tutorial, and stability. The game never froze, never crashed, never broke on me. It also has a pretty decent tutorial that teaches you how to play the game as you progress the main story. You know, it's decent enough, but it is a little bit hard to read at times. And of course you've got the replayability. Now it's there because you can start off with different characters each time, and you can choose different paths as you go. Plus, due to the random number generator, anything could literally happen at any point in time. So, you know, you could end up getting a game over because you got ambushed, not knowing it, and have to start over again. So technically that counts as replayability, but it even has that even if you disregard that. So it's got a good all-around feel to it. And even the user interface is nice and easy to understand and figure out, and it just feels good. Like, it feels right to play, you know what I mean? Like, it's smooth, it's comfortable, you don't have to stress or worry or get confused. It just, everything is where you think it should be. They have the little tooltip pop-up bubbles to tell you what things are. The game does a good job of explaining things to you, so it'd be very hard for you to get lost in this game unless you completely skip the tutorial. And that's all I got for the positives. Up next, the negatives. But before that, please do me a huge favor and support my small channel. The biggest things that you can do to support my channel is to share this video and to subscribe to my channel. But you could also just leave a comment and hit the like button. Those help too, just not as much. It would only take a minute out of your day, and yet it would help me out a bunch. It's literally just that easy. So please, please, please consider supporting my channel today. Thank you. The biggest reason why, I see people all the time saying, you're really good at this, or we love your voice, or whatever, which, by the way, thank you for the compliments. But I see these comments all the time, and people wonder why I'm not more popular. Well, it's because I need people to actually share my content. Small YouTubers are not advertised very well. So if you guys share it, it helps get my name out there, and, you know, it helps. Now then, on to the negatives. You can't customize your own characters. It's not as in-depth as XCOM. You know, you can't customize gear or the looks or names of your people, I guess. Doesn't have any base building stuff either. Geez, I don't know. Legit scratching my head here to find something bad to say about the game. Maybe I've just been lucky this week. So far, the games I've been taking a look at have been pretty awesome. And sure, it doesn't have super awesome graphics, I guess. You know, if you could even call that a negative. But I mean, I don't see a problem with the look of the game. I don't know, it's really hard. Could that be a negative here? I don't know. Even though it's meant to be hard, so could the difficulty be a negative? I don't think so. So I'm sorry, I don't really have anything negative that I can think of to say about this game. Screw it. I can't think of it. I just can't think of anything, so I'm not going to. I think my only concern would be the possible gameplay time, but since I'm only an hour in, it's kind of hard to judge. Does the game end at the end of this particular path, or does it keep going on a whole nother level? You know, if it ends, then the game is kind of short, but it's still only $12, so that's not even that big a deal. But if it keeps going, then it's pretty long, which makes it awesome. See what I mean? So I'm just going to end it here. It's a tough survival game with XCOM-style combat and movement. It's really good, and they did a great job overall here. I can't think of anything seriously negative to mention or even nitpick on, so I'd recommend everybody who sees this video to give this game a chance. If you don't like hard games or survival games, then you probably won't like this. But for everybody else, I highly recommend you play this game and give it a solid try. Alright, everybody? Okay, so yeah, that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.